I'm the O&O magazine. It's so good to be in O. It's sort of a full circle thing. How exciting to be amongst all these creative minds. I feel so much more intelligent. Being in the room with all you cutting edge folks, and thank you, Bob Sapian, for making us one of those companies. We're happy to be on the list. We were like dancing a jig. Our fast company knows who we are. Thank you. I created this network because I believe in the power of connection, and I believe that when you connect to other people's lives and you can tell them and show them stories that reflect themselves to them, that it is both aspirational and inspirational. And for the past 3 years, we have been working on a series that I'm going to show you right now that is really the heart of what this company is all about. The heart of this company is about connecting stories and connecting those stories to people. And it's a series I believed in so much myself. I spent my own money and sent crews to 33 different countries around the world to put together a series actually called Belief, looking at what people believe in throughout the world in a way that allows us to see that we are actually more alike than we are different. It's the cornerstone of what we believe this series. So take a look at Belief. It'll be a 7-part series.
Over 100 billion and counting. It's the best guess we have for the number of human beings who have walked the planet. And every single one of us enters through the same universal experience. Each day around the world, over 350,000 brand new babies join our club, the human family.
Happy birthday, Monica.
Happy birthday. We arrive as our individual little sponge-like selves. And from that instant, our family history, centuries of sacred tradition, and just plain geography begin to shape our lives.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We are born into belief. And where we go from there is our own highly personal, lifelong creation. All rooted in questions asked throughout the ages. Why are we here? What does this all mean? Is there a divine order to the mystery of our lives? Is there a God?
Good morning, Lovey. I didn't fall out of love with him. I didn't stop loving him. If this is not what my future is to be, just take away this love.
I felt like I was so dirty, so unworthy. That's not what God says over me. He looks at me and says, "You are altogether beautiful, my love."
There was actually a kinetic energy that was vibrating that I could feel on the tip of my tongue. This is a chance for me to wipe clean my slate and be able to start a new chapter.
To know that you are uniting with your soulmate and who you will live the rest of your life with is overwhelming. That's when it all begins.
I think people are just afraid of the unknown. They don't want to feel so small. They don't want to feel insignificant.
You start questioning things. Why is it like this? Is God the person with the old white beard?
can't fathom what you felt or what you're still going through.
I can forgive you. I just can't forget.
Aku nak program bayar, udah ada, ya. Nak program. Mana orang marmangan kedekatnya ada gini. Jam bar mahu maju, pergi dengan apa pergi lagi bang. Kalau marmangan je, ya. Kalau gini mungkin je pukul dem barangnya ni.
अब मेरा अंदर हृदय बोलता है, नहीं कि मेरा मन बोलता है, और जिन धर्म की रक्षा के लिए
I'll do whatever it takes. I just know I have to be there. I just have to be there. The answer I was looking for was within me the whole time. There's something bigger than us, but that something is also a part of us.
There's our magnificent planet spread out below us, and then above that is the blackest black that you'll ever see, which is space itself. When God said, "Let there be light,"
and in the beginning, God created.
And you look out, and there's the sun, and the stars, and the moon, and the earth. You know, we're in this incredible world, and where did it all come from?
Where did it all come from? What does it mean? Is there a supreme order, a divine intelligence, an unconditional grace, a force at work in our lives? All of these very human questions rooted in a shared understanding across time and space. An understanding that our lives are both an undeniable miracle and an unsolved mystery, at least for now. And that is the doorway, the invitation, the beginning of belief.
I believe that when we talk about God, we're talking about the same God.
Practice your faith. Don't just preach it.
Holy Spirit, wherever we go, they are here.
Every person has a soul, and that soul has a journey that they're supposed to embark on.
belief is something you can work on for yourself.
What do you believe?
That's my heart song. That's what we're about. Seven-part series in October, and I'm so moved by the work that our team has done, as I said, in 33 different countries, looking at what people believe all over the world. And what we came away with is that the thread, the human thread of our humanity that connects us all, there's a shared belief in something greater, even though we call it by many different names. And wherever you are in the world, that which people call greater, even the guy Alex, who says he's an atheist and climbs, the greatest mountains in the world with no net, no rope, just his single hands, just one step at a time. His faith in the present moment is also a belief system. And so our whole idea behind not just that series, but this entire network is connecting stories, connecting lives so that people can see themselves. And one of the things I love so much about our piece, you see the little Jewish guy, little kid, Mendo. We love Mendo, who's on his bicycle and he's getting bar mitzvahed, and his father is so proud of him on the day of his bat mitzvah. We follow him on the day of his bat mitzvah. And then we travel to Australia and we see the grandfather who is dying, who has the same love and caring for his grandson as Mendel's father had for him. So connecting those stories in such a way that people see that whether you're in Budapest or whether you're in the outbacks of Australia, we really are all the same and connected. That's what we are about, in big ways and little ways. So over the years of doing the Oprah show, my #1 theme for my producers was always, what is your intention? So when they would bring an idea to me, I would say to them, before you even come with the idea, let's have the intention of what it is you want to accomplish, so that when I go into the interview or when we attempt to do a story or any kind of show, it's not just about the show, but it's about the layers of intention that are beneath the show, because the intention is what's going to actually determine the outcome. So that is what rules, the way I operate in the world. And we are always intentionally trying to create work and shows that are aspirational for people, that people get to see the best of themselves. So we asked you all to join Periscope. Those of you who weren't already, I know you're so connected, you would have been Periscope. So now's the time to turn your Periscope, because I got a little announcement that we're going to Periscope. So we are all about family. Everybody get on Periscope. Everybody turn your Periscope to announce a new intentional show with a wonderful actress who's not just an actress, but she's also an activist. And she and her family have agreed to be a part of the OWN family. And today we're announcing a new show with Holly Robinson Peete! And her husband Rodney Peete!
Wait, stop the broadcast,
You broadcast her.
That's why she wants to have it, lady.
This is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, that's
what it's going to be.
Yes.
Welcome. Well, thank you. Welcome to our new family. We were just upstairs having a big meeting. I'm wearing two of my shirts. So I know I have a hole in my shirt. You have to say, damn, what kind of hole? No, it's going to help you get some new shirts. Get some new shirts. But we were just having a meeting upstairs about intention for the new Pete's Sake show. And your intention is?
Why are you looking at me?
My intention is to put a show on the air that has aspirational qualities. We are a family. Yes, we live in Hollywood, but we're not a Hollywood family. We have a special needs son. We have a lot of crazy kids. We have dogs and a bunch of dogs. Harry Tubman Pete, yes. And we have
Frederick Douglass.
Yes, Frederick Douglass Pete. We have about 200 pounds of dogs, and they're just 2 of them. But the reality for us is that we haven't seen on TV as many aspirational reality shows in the genre that we would like to see. So we feel like we should be a part of that. And I mean, to have OWN as a home, it doesn't get more integrity, intentional integrity than that. So thank you. I know that wasn't the short, concise answer, but I'm working on that gene. My mom gave me the long answer gene. So I'm on her.
Okay, so everybody here, can I report from the field?
Please report from the field.
Everybody is loving For Pete's Sake.
Already?
Everybody's loving it. They're saying they're very excited about the Pete's coming to television.
That you're going to let us into your home with your family and all the stuff that's going on. You have a daughter who's going to be, everybody has to have that empty nest thing going with the kids leaving. You have still raising children, and your mother is always like 12 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. No, you tell us. You tell us.
Well,
you have managed the whole mother-in-law thing so beautifully, yeah.
It's good when we want to have a date night and we can drop them off at mom-in-law's house.
Yes? Come on up here, Dolores.
Oh boy.
Let me get it in right now, because I'm not going to speak the rest of the time. No, she's great. She lives, 12 minutes away, and she's been there. She's always there. And we would be sloppy, terrible parents without her.
Yeah.
Because she's great and always
And engaged with the kids.
Very engaged.
Well, not just engaged, but a hero. When our son was diagnosed with autism, this one was on the RJ train and has never gotten off. And we are so blessed to have her be a part of this family. She's autism super grandmother.
Now, can I tell them how many, because you are redefining what it means to be your age. You want to tell? I'll let you tell it. Can you believe?
I just had my 79th birthday, my next birthday, 80.
Ageless woman. Did you say your next birthday was 80?
I'll be 80.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just saying my 79th and that 80 comes after. Anyway,
Yeah.
on the next episode of For Pete's Sake.
That's a problem. That's good. Well, we're so honored to have you because that's also what I'm looking for. I'm looking for aspirational. Obviously, real things go on. In fact, you were saying like this is like a cross between
Run's House meets Blackish.
Blackish for real. Blackish for real. We thank you, Pete. We look forward to
Thank
this.
you, Oprah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we have a tape. 20 years. Okay, 20 years. Okay, we're gonna roll that.
Can you believe it's been 20 years since we first saw this?
You're the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I love you with all my heart.
Notice Holly will not let go of the pocketbook even during the
Actress Holly Robinson. Training with Mr. Cooper star Holly Robinson. How you doing, girl? Former NFL star Rodney Bing.
We were there for some of the biggest milestones of your relationship, and you really have become one of my favorite couples to watch over the years.
You guys are a great representation of what families can be.
Your life is played out in front of our cameras.
Much of the Pete's love story has been caught on tape.
The fairy tale wedding.
If I could just follow that moment when she first came into my vision, I wish I could.
Epic surprises.
For the married couple's first Valentine's Day, Holly took us along on a secret love mission.
Look at Holly. Isn't that a cute little butt she's got? I love you well. I thank you for being my favorite person to hang out with. With the help of the Oprah Winfrey Show, I can shout it out in front of 20 million people. I love you, Rodney Pete.
We were there for many firsts.
Hi, Miss Oprah. Hi. I looked a little different the last time you saw me. I must say, girl, you're going to do the epidural thing, right? You know that, girl.
And even gave the twins their first close-up.
Now, are you all sleeping at all? Are you sleeping at all?
No.
No.
We've gotten to know your strengths.
So what did you learn from this experience?
That it ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
Well, look, even I wouldn't take 3 kids in Toys R Us by myself.
Your struggles.
The child has autism. It's tough. It's scary. You don't want to put your kid out there in some way. But I have to tell you, I mean, my son is amazing.
But most of all, we've gotten to know the real you. So here's to our dazzling future.
Yay! Pete's Sake!
Thank you to Pete again. Wonderful time. All right, how many times first-time Periscopers was it?
Was that your first time?
Wow.
Virgin Scoopers. Virgin Scoopers, oh my God. It looks good on you.
I wasn't going to touch that one. I was going to leave that that to somebody in the higher pay grade. So we have a few minutes before we get on with our tour and do some Q&A. So Bob, editor-in-chief of Fast Company, on behalf of everybody, I want to thank you for this wonderful event. I recognize that's fantastic. You get a picture. You get a picture. Just kidding. So yeah, we'll open it up. We have a few minutes for some questions. It's not often we have Oprah to be able to field questions. So please take advantage of this amazing opportunity that you have. So why don't you fire away, buddy?
So I get the first question,
yeah,
right? So I get the first question. So I'll ask you the easy question. No, this is a version of a question that I get all the time. That's hard for me to realize. How do you decide what stories to do when there's so many stories out there that you can tell? When you're deciding on what sort of programming you want to put, you gave us 2 examples, but they're really different from each other in a lot of ways. What are you deciding? To what extent do you have to worry about the business of it, how much it costs, how much, like how much of that goes into it versus a different kind of vision for it?
Okay, we feel really strongly solid about the Peach because we've been working with the Peach since, you can see, since before the first babies were born. And I know that is a show that will work because people see themselves in Holly Robinson Peach. And as she just said, they're Hollywood, but they're really not, because people like to be in your kitchen and looking to see what kind of appliances you got and all that. But in the end, they want to know how you handle your kids when your kids want things, and even if you can afford to get them, how you handle managing kids. One of the things I think is it's really hard when you have the ability to offer your kids stuff and you want your own children to grow up with their own sense of ambition, their own sense of self-worth. How do you manage that? So you get to see firsthand how a real family with their own challenges deals with it. So I think that I feel pretty solid about that. I'm not worried about that. Belief, now I got to tell you, that's a whole. We're having meetings now trying to figure out how do we present and market those stories to the world, because over the years, you all know I had and still do have a 2.0 version of the book club. And I helped other people sell millions of books. But if I chose a book with a foreign title or with foreign characters, that book would sell like a tenth less than books with American names. And there was a wonderful book by Rohit Ministry called Fine Balance, and I just remember in the book not. So it became a game for me to get the book on the book bestsellers list. And I could not do it if the book was like with foreign names in them. So this series is all about touching people globally all over the world. So how to sell that in a culture that, it's hard to watch CNN if the stories aren't in your own neighborhood. Yeah. That's going to be a challenge. But I will tell you.
But you knew that going in.
I knew that going in. And the foundation for me, my belief was so strong in the need to tell the story. And I just said to the team today, it's not going to happen in a traditional way. So I'm not looking for, the biggest rating blockbuster. I'm looking for long term. I'm looking for long term, it getting passed on and out through the world. I'm looking for us to create the greatest marketing platform we can for it, release it into the world, and however it finds its way to whoever needs to see it, that will be the most satisfying thing for me. Like over the years, during doing the show, there were many shows that we knew were not going to be the highest rated shows, but we knew, and I could tell, I could just feel it, I could feel inside myself when something was touching me, that it will also touch at least 1 million other people. That's because, we're all connected that way. So the decisions for me over the years have been really personal about what is it I want to say, what is it we want to say as a network, and how do we want to say it in such a way that it affects people. And some of those decisions are decisions made to specifically make money, and others are just like, well, this is what we want to say to the world, and hope you receive it.
Wonderful. Question?
What's something that you've learned, either personally or professionally recently, that has surprised you?
I'm so surprised I can't answer that question.
say, get the Periscope
Write
on
that
quick.
down, 'cause that is such a good question. Why did you ask that question?
Because we're always curious about, because we should all be theoretically learning. And it's
Yeah.
not so much just about what we do professionally or personally.
Okay.
Those two merge, but they're like those moments where you're surprised, like, wait, I just learned this.
Okay, so
And it's really awkward me holding this phone like this.
is that the best angle for me?
Look, any angle of you is the best. Don't worry about that.
I will tell you, I always love when this happens, and it doesn't happen often. When I am in the middle of an interview, just like you said, and somebody will say something, and it's a real aha moment. I go, ooh, I'm like having an aha moment. So I was recently interviewing for Super Soul Sunday, another one of my favorite shows, which you can live stream, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So on Sunday, I have these conversations with thought leaders from around the world, and interesting people, curious conversations about life and philosophy, and asking the big questions, and hopefully sometimes getting some answers. So I was interviewing Janet Mock, who is a transgender woman, who explained to me, for the first time I understood and was taken by actual surprise, because I consider myself to be so open and liberal, understanding that sexuality, I have understood for many years doing the Oprah show, and having coming out day like in the 80s where kids couldn't tell their parents when they'd come on the show and tell 20 million people that they were gay, and then their parents had to deal with it. So I understood a long time ago that sexuality was on a spectrum. I did not know, I was taken by surprise when Janet was saying to me, well, so is gender on a spectrum? And was saying, see, did you know that? Because I thought that too. I thought, you're male or you're female. And she was saying, no, when she presented as a boy, which is the politically correct thing to say, not she was a boy, because she says she never was a boy. When she presented as a boy, she always knew that she was a girl, and then grew up and became a full girl. And she says to me on the air, what if you're in the middle? And I'm like, well, what is the middle? What if you're a girl who still wants to keep her penis? She says. Oh, that's a surprise to me, to answer your question. That would be a surprise to me, because that is not something. I thought that if you had a penis, you were a boy. And she said, not necessarily. So that was my biggest surprise.
Bravo. I'm not quite sure how we could top that one. And as we like to say, and on that note.
No, she has a book called Redefining Realness. It's so excellent. It just changed my whole perspective on what it means.
So if you have one extra second, I think we want to do the world's largest selfie with you in the Magical Cafe. Can we do that real quick? Can we get somebody stand right over here?
We're going to do that.
Watch it. Stage, we all stage. So Oprah, you stand here. Everybody, why don't you gather this way? Maya's going to have the official camera.